Hi everyone, I'm Brock. So today let's keep reviewing on my development progress for my project, visual novel generator. So first part is about pattern recognition. Based on today's development logs, the core bug was voice input failure. After analysis by multiple agents, the following common cause was identified. Well, it analyzed the report doesn't analyze my bug correctly. My bug is that the application I can log in localhost, but I cannot log in DigitalOcean. So it's actually doesn't analyze correctly. And let's say there are some common patterns. Pattern 1, environment disparity bugs. The configuration disparity between development and production environments is a core cause of today's bug. But the analysis of the bug is correct. This pattern recurs in database choice, SQLite vs PostgreSQL, environment variable defaults, data persistence strategies. Pattern 2, over defensive programming. Codex fix, while technically correct, introduced the new risks. Pattern 3, fix introduction regression. Gemini's code review pointed out that seed admin on startup defaulting to false would prevent admin account creation in production. This is a classical fix one bug, introduce another pattern. And this is today's development flow. Step 1, I ask Claude to analyze the bug, identify SQLite issue. Then I will manually review the root cause report. The second step is I will ask Gemini to review the solution. Then again, I will manually review. Step 3, I will ask Codex to implement the code. Then Codex will implement the code. And then I manually review. Step 4, I will ask Gemini to review the code. Yeah. Yeah, basically the workflow is exactly how I collaborate with coding agent at this moment. Nanospot identification. Based on today's development process, the following cognitive blind spots. Blind spot 1, default value assumption. I didn't question Codex decision to set seed admin on startup to false as a production default. This default would prevent admin account creation on first deployment. Well, I think to avoid this situation, because currently what I'm trying to do is so after Gemini review Claude's solution, I will directly ask Codex to fix the bug. I shouldn't do that. I should ask Codex to review the feedback, right? It should be review. So I found the bug, ask a thing, I use a ring, but I'm not sure. I need to show a new image. Do you have any? Do you agree or disagree with the solution? The solution proposed by the two coding agents. Why? Don't start coding. Don't edit documents. Let's discuss first. Yeah, I guess that even if I already ask Claude and Gemini to propose the solution, I shouldn't directly ask Codex to start coding. Instead, I should ask it to pause. And discuss with it first, right? And the information I provide to it is the learning, which documented by previous the two coding agents, right? And the bug description, front end and back end. Yeah, and yeah, at this moment, I don't want to change anything. Yeah. So if Codex agree with it, then I will ask it to update the bug. And then it should provide the coding requirement. Right? So it should be coding requirements. Make sense? Which means that after Gemini give peer review, then I will ask Codex, okay, how do you think about it? But don't make any edits first, right? Okay, and then if Codex doesn't agree with the solution, then we'll ask Codex to put its feedback to Nano. And if it agrees, then I will ask it to start coding. And also, right, summarize. Right, summarize what you have edited. Summarize what code you have edited in the following documentation, right? So Codex will add the updates into the learning from doing documentation. Also, it should right. It should tell me which lines of code you have edited. Okay, and then also I tell it what's the requirement when it try to it do the coding. Make sense? Okay, let's go back. So if I do this, maybe I won't, right? If I do this, maybe I can avoid such things happen. Okay, Blind Spot 2, error handling strategy. I accept the approach. Reads value error when SQLite detected this production, without considering if it's an optimal error handling strategy. Alternatives: graceful degradation, read-only mode, warm but continue, health check endpoint. I guess that when collaborate with agent, the most important ability is to identify which is a valuable feedback, which feedback may get me into a wrong way. It's kind of like when internet is invented, information is a lot, which we call it as information explosion. And our most important ability is to identify, and I think it's pretty similar situation. Blind Spot 3, test coverage assumption. Codex provide tests, but test skipped when PostgreSQL driver was missing. This means core functionality wasn't actually tested. It makes sense, right? Okay, so you see, unchallenged decision list, all of them are Codex. And this happened because of my workflow. Because today when I collaborate with Codex, I just ask it to read others' solution and then go ahead and and implement. And but now I will ask Codex to review the feedback, but review the proposal. But don't make any edits, right? So evaluate the solution proposals, right? Do you agree? Why? What's your solution proposal based on these two coding agents? And your own opinion, right? This is important, right? Before I ask Codex to take actions, I will ask it to. So which means that my current workflow actually is, okay, so step one, use Claude to analyze the bug. Use Gemini to review Claude's solution proposal. Then use Codex to review Claude and Gemini's solution proposal, right? That's important. Then use Codex to implement the solution. Right? So, which means that there are 4 manual review. The first time is to, okay. Which means that the first time is to review Claude. Second time, review Gemini. Third time, review Codex solution. And the fourth time is to review the solution proposal, right? First time is to review the code. So I think that I should, update my workflow to this to avoid the issues mentioned here. So devil's advocate challenge. How do you spell devil?
Devil.
Devil.
Devil. Devil.
Devil. Challenge 1. What's the biggest implicit assumption? Assumption: fixing data bug config will solve the voice input bug. Well, the report misunderstands it. It's not about the voice input bug. It's login issue. It's login issue. Challenge 2, which design decision would competitors laugh at? Hard-coded SQLite rejection production instead of config-driven database selection. Challenge 3, which choice will you most regret in 3 months? Not establish a complete CI/CD pipeline to automatically test different database configuration. Users may encounter similar issue when deploying in different environments. But that's correct. I haven't built a CI/CD pipeline. That's something I should build. And I am not pretty sure how to do that yet. Okay, alternative solutions. The current implementation uses hard-coded conditional checks for data selection. The strategy pattern can provide a more flexible solution. Okay, and here to give some example here. Plugin system. A plug system allows more flexible database support extension without modifying core code. Okay, so which means that it will support easy to add a new database support. Core code remains stable. Community can contribute plugins. Makes sense? Configuration-driven architecture. Use configuration files to drive database behavior instead of hard coding. Makes sense. Yeah, my current plan, low complexity, low flexibility, low maintenance. So you see, when I'm offered, let's say 3 or even more options, how can I know which one is the best solution for my current situation? That's some decisions I need to make day to day. And that's the hardest part when human collaborate with coding agent, I think. Okay. Wait, I seem to forget something. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, that's fine. So the first prevention mechanism, environment consistency check. Environment check. Database type match. It's production, strict mode. Okay. Monitoring and alert. CI/CD pipeline improvement. This is something I should think about. how to configure a CI/CD pipeline. Create deployment checklist to avoid missing configuration. Well, that's something I think that I should think about, right? And maybe I should put in here. So the main idea is when I ask a Codex to edit this code, it should tell me, right? This is coding requirements. It should go through the deployment checklist. Okay. And the prevention summary, it doesn't load successfully. So 4.5. Okay. Oh, there's so many stuff to work on. Okay. Part 3, how to collaborate with coding agents much better. Let's see, 5.1. Okay. There are so many advantages I didn't fully utilize. So let's see. MCP model context protocol. MCP's protocol allow AI agents to interact with external tools and the data source. Your current workflow doesn't use MCP at all, which is a significant efficiency loss. What external services I should use? Okay. Yeah, I think at this moment I didn't find a very strong motivation to use MCP yet. Because I already specifically mentioned which file I want to look into, so that it will be easier for, because those documentation can be 10,000s of lines. I just specifically tell it where to find the code. Okay, and problems with current serial org flow. That's what I'm working on. And parallel workflow. 5.3.2. Okay. Analysis at the same time. Implementation, cloud, testing, same time. But again, my point still is, if they worked in the same time, how can I, use one agent's output to be verified by the second agent, right? It's kind of like a pair programming. I finished coding, I had my code to the next person. They review it, right? And after the second person reviewed, and then I hand over to the third person to review it. I think that this is logically has to be sequential. I don't know why it's always asking me to parallel. Yeah, I don't know. Maestro. Maestro. What's his? How to pronounce?
Maestro.
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 Maestro. Use one agent as maestro to coordinate others. Well, or debate pattern, have multiple agents debate solutions. Actually, that's kind of like what I'm doing now. My current strategy more like a debate pattern. Okay, recommended drive environment setup. GitHub Actions, IDE layout, AI extension, MCP servers. I think that the automation CI/CD part is what I'm missing here. I should think about it. Okay, VS Code configuration, daily workflow optimization. Okay, and part 4, competitors. 6.1. Let's see what's 6.1. Okay, there's some tools it mentioned. Okay. Anthropic. Well, I don't think Anthropic is my competitor. OpenAI, no. Runway. Midjourney. Novel AI. Character AI. So you see, those AI teams has really small team. Stability AI. Analyst VN. That's pretty cool. Rosebud AI. This is also pretty cool. Okay, well, I think that because you see, these companies, they have recommended for several times. I think it's repeated. So my thoughts is I should ask it to avoid to apply. So for example, when it generate report, right? When you generate report, I should tell it, okay. Don't recommend. Well, I should. So well, I ask you to recommend some, positions. Don't recommend any companies in the right. So I should specifically tell it. Don't recommend. So I will create a doc. So I will create a doc named companies not to include. Okay, so in this way, let's say whether we can avoid repetition. Sounds good? Okay. OpenAI Runway, Midjourney, Novel AI, Rose-powered AI. Okay, so let me see which positions I can try. Anthropic, Runway ask you to create a demo. I think it's too time consuming. I don't want to do that. Character.ai. But I don't see any position that work for me. Let's see. Here. Yeah, so you see, they doesn't have any support positions. So it doesn't work for my situation. Midjourney. I don't think they have any position. Okay, you see, they only have around 70 people. They raise nothing. What are they hiring? AI researcher, product engineer, product designer, data engineer, infrastructure, GPU. Okay, machine learning. It doesn't have any supporting roles. You see that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no. They don't have any supporting roles. How about novel AI? Yeah, they don't have any career. They don't open any positions. No, nope, nope. Yeah, no. Rosebud AI, same situation. Yeah, just one, you see, machine learning researcher. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, only one position. So you see. How about the stability AI? No support roles. Have I applied for it before? Stability. No. What's this? Creative technologist. What's this? Okay. About the inference engineer, I don't think. Yeah, no, machine learning engineer. Everyone is looking for machine learning engineer. You see it? It's the only thing I can think about, maybe a little bit related, is a creative technologist. But this is more like a research role, you see it? And this requirement is, familiar with models to generate videos, audios. Yeah, nothing. Well, let me try. Let me try one thing. I will ask it. I will try to ask it to. So I will try to ask it to avoid the positions mentioned in it, and to see whether it will give me some different stuff. Let's try it. So don't recommend any complaints, right? And let me put the list here. So, okay, start a new conversation. So you see, it's longer than, but but the point is that when I start a new conversation, all the top context is missing. Correct? All the context is missing here. So this strategy doesn't work. Well, let's see. Let's just keep going and see whether it will mention some other positions in the remaining parts. Okay, part 5, open source project. Okay, RenPy. WebGL. Interesting. This is generated by Chinese people. They are logic. Okay. VN translator. Interesting. Monogatari. Okay. Tuesday.js. avg.js. Aker, Yuki. Okay. Some patterns to design. Okay. Yeah, I think that this is interesting. Keep going on. Part 6. Okay, this is how to improve my prompts. And part 7 is some investors. Part 8, actions. But still, let's see whether it can. Let's see. Let's see whether if I start new. So you see, I'll see whether it can really, recommend some positions which outside of the complaint list. It may take some time for it to do the research. I will just keep it going, and when it finish, we can go back. Okay, part 6: how to improve my prompt. Too long, mixed language, unclear priority, mixed context, missing context. Well, I think I already provide enough context. No success criteria. Okay, this is some recommended prompt template. Okay, original is very complex. Then this is a optimized one. But I did have a lot of things to add, I think. Scenario-based prompt templates. Okay. Yeah, I think it's yeah, I think it's be specific, give context, define success, specific format, break into steps. Okay, do not be too long. But I did have a lot of things requirement as I needed to pay attention to. How can I, if that is the case, how I can avoid non-prompt? Mix my tasks. Well, makes sense. One task at one time. I agree. Blurring success criteria. Okay, provide context. That's what I'm trying to do every time. Mix Chinese and English. Well, okay, I will try to avoid. Let me write it down. Okay. Okay, so just now, I asked it to generate 9 companies, which is outside of the apply application list. So let's see. The first one, runway. Second one is character.ai. Third one is stability. Cohere. But I already, okay. But I think that in the list there are Cohere. Oh no, interesting. No Cohere. No Cohere. Ika. Numa. Perplexity. Unity. Okay. Roblox. Okay, and this is some positions. Runway. But need to use your products to create a workflow. I don't want to do that. Perplexity. Sounds interesting. So let's see whether we can find this position in their website. I don't know, but let's see. And the position it's talking about is customer success engineers. So let's search for customer. Okay, I saw 3. So let's see, how about this one? Oh, this is a contract. Yeah, no. It doesn't align with what I'm looking for. How about this one? Well, I think maybe I can try this one. Although, well, anyway, let's try it. Okay, this is customer success manager. Complexity. Okay, cool. I think one of the good thing to utilize AI to do such research is that if I'm not satisfied with some results or even change my own mind, it's pretty quick to regenerate something. It makes the cost to make mistakes even cheaper. Cohere, Unity, Roblox. Okay. Sounds good. Let's go back. Okay. Prompt optimized checklist. ID extension configuration. Okay. Context. Gemini. Okay, all these are some configuration. Wow, too long to read. Yeah, part 7. Some investors why come back later. AI2 incubator. NVIDIA Inception. Google for Startups AI program. Tech Startups. A16Z Games. HF0. Berkeley Sky Dyke. Mass Challenge. Some Chinese investments. 奇迹创谈、增格基金、高瓴领投、五元资本、启明创投、IDG 资本、阅文集团战略投资、商汤国香基金、北京 AI 产业基金。Okay. Interesting. Not, I don't need this at this moment, but maybe in future. The last part, part 8. So some key summary, there's so much of it. Okay. Today's development issues. Voice input bug, this is wrong. It should be login bug, which means I can log in localhost, but I cannot log in DigitalOcean. Production lockout risk, crash loop risk, test coverage gap. Okay, some action items. Priority metrics. Let's see. Do first, schedule, consider, delegate. Okay. Based on the efforts and the impacts. Weekly review checklist. Success metrics, resources, positions, open source, final recommended rejections, tech first, parallel thinking, strategy, patience. If possible, I think that don't get investment is the best option. Okay, that's pretty much it for it. Thank you. Bye.